Right guys, this is going to be a solo 1080 Master Nightfall and a Warlock getting the Platinum rank with without any pinnacle weapons. As you saw from the loadout, we're using Well of Radiance middle tree with Solar Grenade, Heal and Rift. As for weapons, we have the Kinetic Sniper Long Shadow on, which is from the Vanguard. We have Uriel's Gift, which is a world drop, and it's Arc. And we've got Wardcliff Coil on. It'll become clear why we've got Wardcliff Coil on, but mainly in this, all the shields that we have to deal with are Arc. There's 2 solar shields, but match game doesn't work for those shields. Okay? So you don't need to run any solar at all. I've just got solar on because right? Because we want to buff our coil with Well of Radiance. That's the only reason. First 2 champions in this room are going to be an anti-barrier knight and a unstoppable ogre to the right side of that knight, right there. We've also got disruption break on our Uriel's Gift, so every time we get a stagger we get that increased damage to our kinetic weapon, which is Long Shadow, so really good for that. We've also got a counter charge high energy fire build on with Inferno Whip to stop champions with a solar melee ability. On top tree Dawn it would have been alright because it's a ranged melee, but this isn't a ranged melee, so we've got to manipulate the ogre, get the ogre close to cover, then we can get a stop before the ogre stomps us. Yeah? That could be a wipe. Once we've done a damage with 1 coil, we're going to back off to this area right here. Reason being is so that the ogre can't push us in this corridor right here. I mean, they can push, but as long as you keep going back into cover, the ogre won't push so far down this hill. We've also got charge of light, so we can do a bit of damage there. Even though the ogre's not stopped, we're still getting a 20% increase for damage. So even though he's not stopped, we can still do a decent amount of damage there. Plus we haven't got a melee to stop him, but that's fine, he's weakish. We just want to get him finishable. But other than that, that's the first room. You don't need to clear out all the acolytes, just the ones that you need for ammo and stuff. We've got max. You want to fill up on ammo in that room. If there's still some acolytes alive, you've got a nade, then by all means fill up on heavy. I've also got, as for Hive mods, we've got Hive Barrier, Hive Armaments, Hive Repurposing. Hive Repurposing, every finisher kill we get our grenade back, so we can infinitely farm grenades to get infinite heavy. With this next room here, we're going to have 2 actually yellow bars, a couple of snipers at the back of the room, a couple of acolytes, and curse for all. First thing you want to do is take out the acolytes in front of you and any snipers you can see, because they can be a danger. You don't want to deal with the, I mean, we've got Wardcliff Coil on, so we're not going to deal with the knights until we get a bit closer. You can use your sniper to take out any acolytes you see, or your auto. Like I say, I've got Uriel's Gift on, which is a world drop. If you don't have Uriel's Gift, then you can use the Arc Moon auto, or any other auto that you wish that can put an anti-barrier mod in. Yes, we get our first knight. As you can see, Wardcliff Coil one-shots the yellow bars. We've got it on for that, but we've got it on more for the boss. I mean, I didn't need to use Wardcliff Coil, but it's just what we used to use back in the day when this Nightfall first came out. So that's why I'm using it. And it does massive damage to the boss of this Nightfall. Before you leave that room, make sure you fill up on all your ammo. I've fullish, not so bad. With this Nightfall itself, there's only 2 unstoppables in the whole thing, and then there's a bunch of anti-barriers. So, if you could do it with double primary. I just think if you were going to do that with coil, it wouldn't be so good. But if you maybe ran double primary, so like an unstoppable hand cannon and an anti-barrier auto, or an unstoppable pulse, with say Thunderlord, that would work, or with Wendigo. Anything arc in your heavy slot is good in this. Yeah, because there's loads of arc shielded knights, and like I said, only 2 solar shielded wizards. Okay, so for the next set of anti-barriers, we're going to use the rock to my left. This is good cover. Okay? You can also do a healing rift and whatnot, but we'll wait to see where the champions go. Sometimes they split up, but you want the one to your left really. You get a better angle on that one. And we'll bait out the first shield. Make sure you've got plenty of ammo in your Uriels. I think it's around 15 shots or so, something like that. Gonna find out right now. Yeah, so around 15ish shots. 2 breaker shield. Obviously the further away, the more it's going to take. But this Uriel's gift's got high range, it's also got ricochet rounds on it. But generally, it has high base range anyways. So you should be good with whatever Uriels you've got. As long as it's, you know, 1060. So now we'll get the next anti-barrier. This is all about singling each anti-barrier out. Okay? They don't deal a lot of damage because they're not Verminites, like with the arc and stuff. But behind that rock there does a lot of it's a lot of help being there. Then for this next part we're gonna have 4 arc shielded knights. You need to take 1 or 2 of them down to spawn in the next phase. Generally it'll be a solo wizard, but on the Ordeal version you get a unstoppable ogre, which is our last one of the whole thing. You want to be careful when that unstoppable's spawning in, because if they see you straight away they'll rush, but if they can't see you they won't. This is what we want. We want the unstoppable to sort of back off first, and then we can manipulate the ogre, get a stun with our melee in our well Radiance, which we're going to use. Which you need to bait the ogre into a safe location because there's all the ads at that back of the room. But of course it's part of the AI of the ogre to push you, so we can use that and have the ogre, like single the ogre out to easily take him. So this is what we're doing right here. We'll bait out the unstoppable ogre to the corridor. Like so. I wouldn't advise using coil. I did. It got me weak, so don't do that. Then we're gonna do a well right here. Get a stun. Then we're in our well. Try to stand back a little bit as well if you're gonna stun and the ogre's in your well. Stand back just a little bit so that you don't coil yourself. Then that's your unstoppable easily dealt with. Now we can deal with the rest of the room. There's still going to be a couple of arc boomers that we didn't take and 2 anti-barrier knights. We're not going to bother with the anti-barrier knights yet. We're going to deal with all the room, all the acolytes. We're going to try and fill back up on heavy and stuff because we've used a lot. Of course, if we miss nades like so, we can get a finisher, get our nade back. Then we're going to use this angle here, which is better, because the Boomerites can't really hit you so much. Once all ads are dead, not including barrier champions, there'll be a bunch of thrall that spawn in, which we're going to get them to spawn in. And we're going to farm up some heavy off them. We're going to use the Sunbracer's exotic perk, where if you get a melee kill, you get unlimited nade energy for like 5 seconds. We can just spam our nades to clear out all the thrall, and we can fill back up on our heavy by doing so. And it just clears them out quickly. Okay, so now for the 2 anti-barrier knights, we're gonna wait around this hill area, and we're gonna try and single the knights out if we can. Generally what you want to do is when they pair up, when they get into the right location, is take the one on the left, because the one on the left can get hits on you and the one on the right can't. So what I end up doing here is trying to take the one on the right, but the one on the left's hit me like so. And it's flinching me from getting my crits, so the best thing to do is sort of wait. I was kind of unlucky just to get that stun there, but best thing to do is wait, because this can happen right now. So the champion side rolled into cover and regen, so try to take the one, like I say, on the left side. But once you do get it in control of it and get that first stun, generally it's not so bad. That's the worst thing with these knights, they like to side roll a lot. Which is part of their AI. Of course you can use Coil as well. Coil does a decent amount of damage. It doesn't do crazy, but it does a decent amount of damage to the champions. But generally you want to be going to the next part with a lot of ammo, because you're going to need it. As there's a lot of Arc Shielding Knights that we need to take. We're going to have one anti-barrier knight in this room here, which spawns in with a bunch of acolytes and a arc boomer at the back of the map. You want to try and take out as many acolytes as you can before engaging with the anti-barrier knight. Thing is, they like to hide, like to do a lot of cover, so best thing is just to play the patient game, try and get a couple of snipe kills on them. Use a healing if when possible, stuff like that. So the knight side rolled my coil by looks. That's where we had the nade as a backup plan, like so. Wasn't the best, really, to be honest, that, but it's the thing with coil, when there's multiple adds up round a champion, it's best not to use coil, because it just sprays everywhere sometimes. And doesn't do the damage that you want it to do. Again, the side dodge. So the best thing would be to do, bait out the first shield with a couple of snipe shots like so, and then you can get a shield break on. The best time to coil a knight is after a shield break, not before, basically. Okay, so that's the anti-barrier now, and now we'll get the rest of the yards. There's not too much to this Nightfall itself, since there's, I mean, last week we had attrition, which generally makes Nightfalls a little harder. So it hasn't got any health penalties, it's just Chaff. It's the no radar one. Okay, so with this next room, this is the ogre room, probably the most difficult for some, but if you control it, you stand in the right locations, then you'll be okay. First thing you want to do is take both shriekers down. You want to open them up first with your auto and then snipe them down. Then for the right side one as well, take that one. Once we've done that, we're going to wait for the wizard, the wanted target, which is a solar shield. Okay, but we're not going to deal with that wizard at all, 'cause it's not required. There is 2 more solar shields at the boss, but match game doesn't work for those solar shields. So therefore you don't need solar to take them down. I have solar on, of course, because of my subclass, but that's just because we've got well on to buff coil. That's the only reason. We're going to do a healing rift in cover, take out any acolytes, and we want this back side of the room clear, and the cliff side of the room where the wizard is, we're not going there at all. Okay? This strat's going to involve us taking 4 knights before we actually throw any balls, any relics. We'll accumulate all the relics during this, like that area there. And basically what's happening here is, generally how this goes, okay, I'm sure people know. In a strike, you take down 2 of the crystals, there's an audio queue, knights start to spawn in at the cliff side of the area. Then you've got to take the knights from that side. Then you take down the 2 remaining crystals and kill the boss. However, what we're doing is before we take any crystals at all, we're going to farm up 4 relics by letting knights come out of the door to my left because what happened in the past is that when this Nightfall first came out, it was buggy where you could actually destroy the relic and a knight would not respawn. They changed it so that knights are unlimited. Okay? People used to farm points when Nightfalls were more score focused. They used to farm knights to get points and stuff. Okay? But we're not farming them for the points, we're farming them to get the 4 relics, get them down, so that then we can deal with the boss and we don't have to deal with the cliffside at all, because the cliffside is more dangerous than the near side. It'll make more sense when I actually do it. We'll get our second relic here. The third knight spawned in, as you see. Also less chance for the ogre to see us, and if the ogre does melt us, because if the ogre sees you for quite a bit of time, it can melt you down quick on this difficulty. You can also do healing rifts and stuff behind cover. If you have Hive Invigoration on, you can healing rift each night, and you'll get your healing back because they're orange bars. So that's a way of doing it as well. Generally coil one-shots, but like I said, if you're out of range, like I was, it won't. But that was fine because the knight put up their wall. So that means we could basically snipe them down. It's just an easy way of doing this room, basically. It's not required to do it like this, it's just showing people an easier way of doing it. Now we're on our final night. We've got another healing rift here. We use that. Try to leave this room with a decent amount of heavy. It is really hard with coil, even with Hive Armaments, to sort of optimize, because reserve and scavenger perks don't proc with coil, no matter what. Yeah. So you'll get one each time. Now we're going to take the 4 crystals. As you can see from here, it's safe to do it. That's why we stacked all the relics there. The game will take a bit of time to keep up with that, but we can do it well and then just kill the boss in our well. We end up backing up though, as I realised the ogre was getting pretty close. If I had more coil ammo on me, I would have just used another coil and then took the ogre. We just wanted a bit more coil starting at the boss. But if you like me, end up backing up, which you can come to the cliffs, this cliff area right here, and the ogre won't push you up, push up this hill. You're gonna snipe him down. Depends on how much heavy you've got on the floor and whatnot. Like if you had low sniper ammo, then I'd be using a lot more coil, and vice versa. Pick up any ammo that you see on the floor. All ads will disappear, of course, when the ogre is killed. You're going to start clearing acolytes and farming ammo off them while the ogre's up. Be careful and keep an eye on where that ogre's going. So now we'll be at the boss fight. Before the boss fight starts, we're going to have 4 anti-barrier knights to kill. This bit will be tricky for people with this loadout as well, but there's things that you can do to help. Hive Repurposing is a big one, and the fact I've got Sunbracers on. So we're going to go to the hillside so that the ads can't hit us from here, and we're going to just try and bait out a shield. That's our main goal. Once we do that, we're going to try and melt down a champion before the other champions start to push up the hill. The quicker you get a champion down, the easier it gets from there. Okay? I'm not gonna lie, when there's 4 champions up, they can side roll everywhere, and just trying to get damage on one can be hard work. But that's why I tried to melt one of the champions down straight away as soon as we come in the room, and then from there we can use this hill as cover. It's not complete cover. As you saw, they can hit me still. But don't use coil as well when there's multiple champions up, because coil just go everywhere and it won't hit the target you want it to. So only use coil when maybe there's one champion left alive. That's fine. We'll bait out this champion here with 2 sniper shots. Then we can do our nade. Always get your reload for your Hero's Gift or whatever auto you use. And if you're maybe intending to farm another shield break off that night. Now we're going to get some sniper ammo, floor, and we're going to go back to the area that we were for DPS on the boss and to finish this night off. When there's just one anti-barrier alive, it's not a problem, as there's nothing else in the room to flinch us or nothing. We're going to farm up another nade off this champion as well, so we're starting the boss fight with a nade. Plus with high energy fire, like we deal a lot of damage, so the nade's not needed every time. Okay, so for boss damage you want to stand here so that the boss can't hit you, and it also stops the boss from spawning adds. If you stand down at the bottom end of the hill or anywhere else, they will. Generally I want to do a bar, half a bar of the first bar, and then do a coil. That gets the boss below a third, like straight off the bat. This was my second run of the day, so I didn't fully optimize like strats. What I should have done there is probably used a well after I'd done my sniper shots, then done coil. It would have been more damage overall, and then it would potentially mean we could kill the boss before the final phase even initiates. But this, like I said, was the second run of the day, so it wasn't really optimized for damage and stuff. So what happened there is I wasn't keeping an eye on the ad spawn for the acolytes, so be wary of that. We were farming up ammo. Now we're max coil, so we're good for that. There'll be a bunch of acolytes and snipers on the other side, so how this room works, every time there's an acolyte spawn, there's 2 doors. A door to my right and a door to the other side. Yeah? Also knights spawn on each side of the room as well. The boss goes through phases. The first phase, like especially when the boss is immune, the boss will be immune in the middle, just standing there, not doing a thing. Okay, so you're free to sort of roam around the map and clear ads on this particular phase. After this phase, though, the boss will change AI. The boss will be stationary, immune, but starts to shoot at you. Okay, and the boss is quite deadly. And then after that phase, the boss will be immune, shoot at you, and roam. That's the hardest phase. The third phase is the hardest. But we'll get to that. We'll talk about that when we get to it. We can use coil here to one-shot a knight. Really good. It's important that you're clearing out all the ads for each phase. So I've noticed there's 2 acolytes still alive, so we're going to take them. Before we take that knight, you know, and take the crystal, we'll take out all the acolytes, because they may spam your nade on you at a time when you don't want them to. So if you're using a similar setup to me, you can actually get a shield break with Uriels and take the knights with sniper. Also be sure that you've got your Wardcliff Coil loaded, as we're going to set up for damage. Don't just throw the ball. Get to a good location, do a well. And have coil out ready. As soon as we get the throw, we'll do a nade and then a coil shot. That gets the boss to nearly a third. If we'd welled on the first phase, okay, it would have been even lower. So even though, you know, Coil is just a one-shot weapon, it does a lot of damage for this boss. On this particular phase, we have wizards, the solo wizards that don't work. The solo match game shields in this don't work, so it's fine. We can just use Coil. It's important that you do take that wizard out straight away though, because if you don't, the second wizard will push you while the first wizard's alive. But if you take out the first wizard, the second wizard's just going to back up to the edge of the map and ain't going to push you. Now what we're doing is we're going to leave the second wizard alive, and we're going to have all the thrall spawn. We're going to deal with all that because the thralls, they just keep coming, but eventually they stop. But if we were to take out the wizard, the second wizard, that would trigger the night spawn. If we trigger the night spawn too early while there's thrall up, it just makes it more difficult. So rather than do that, leave wizard alive, take out all the thrall, then we take the wizard when we want. This will then spawn the 2 Archalian knights, and there's no additional adds. So just waiting for this knight to push me. Get an empowerment there. Well, gotta be careful of the boss, as the boss is shooting me as well. And we've got our first knight. What happens in this room as well is additional knights spawn. Just like the ogre room, knights keep spawning up and up and up, because like in the old days, if a relic and a knight was killed, there was no additional knight spawn, so that was it. You had to restart it. So you basically have unlimited knights spawning here. Kind of good for super. You can farm super off that, and obviously we've got well, so that's what we're going to end up doing. We're close-ish to our super, so may as well wait for a knight. It's kind of random. They'll either spawn either side of the map. Sometimes they can spawn the same side you're standing. Just depends. Yes, that's our next knight spawning in. And again we'll get our shield break, couple of sniper shots. That disruption break just makes this weapon really good. Like snipers in general. It would work with anything else. If I was using Witherhoard, it would work with that. Mountaintop, it would work with that. Any kinetic. Okay, so now we're going to position ourselves for damage. There's another knight spawning as well, so we've got to be careful of that. We'll do our well first. The relic, of course, is going to drop down the map. Thought the boss was going to kill me there, so that's why I done that, but we're fine. The boss would have went immune there, so I wouldn't have had time for the second call shot, but that boss was literally 10%, so like I said, if I'd done it well on that first phase, I probably could have killed the boss there and then. But for those of you that don't end up doing it, like maybe don't get the kill there and then this is how you do the third phase, which is the hardest anyways. So, like I said at the start, the boss is going to be immune, roaming, and attacks you. Okay? And the boss can do a lot of damage. Hit you like 2 or 3 hits. So it's important that you rotate around the map a lot. You're going to have the same spawns as what you've been dealing with. For the rest, you have your thrall that keeps spawning. You'll have your acolytes and then the 2 Archalian. We're saving our nades here at times, like there. I needed to do a nade. And we're rotating around. I'm going to use the rocks as cover. You can't use it for long though. Now we're free to do a coil shot. gets our first night. That's why it's so important to have to rotate a lot. High recovery helps out a lot here as well, which I had I think tier 8. The more recovery you have for this fight, the better as well. We missed our shield throw there, so why? Still a couple of thrall on me, so this wasn't ideal. Like I said, having the high recuv, like there for example, really helps out. We can get a finisher kill, so we get our nade back just in case. Oil failed me a couple of times here, and mainly because there's other adds up, not just the actual night. That screws with the tracking. Not only that, the night sidestepped it, so everything was happening bad for this part. Our goal right now is just to clear out all the acolytes. We're close to a well as well, so we can use that for the final phase. Right now, just trying to get the knight into a good location so we can use coil. Like I said, coil's not the best, but I just wanted to see what it's like for damage on this boss. Other weapons like Wendigo, even an arc linear fusion rifle would be really good. Okay, so now we've got our final relic. We're just going to wait here for our well. We're literally night 5, so may as well. The boss can push you around this rock, but if you just go around the other side, it'll then confuse the boss. There'll be another actual night spawn up, just like before though as well, so just be wary of that. Because we're going to do a well here. Probably didn't need to wait for that, but regardless, that was the solo 1080 Master Nightfall, getting the platinum rank on a Warlock without any pinnacle weapons. Hope you enjoyed, thank you.